I'm going to continue with the whole issue of counting the Omer. The fourth week of counting the Omer examines and refines endurance. Now, this is endurance, fortitude, and ambition. It's a combination of determination and tenacity, of wanting to continue. It balances patience, persistence, and just plain guts. Endurance is reliability and accountability. Endurance then provides security and commitment, and it's essential to success. It is alive and it's driven by what counts. It is being ready to fight for belief all the way. It requires close examination, ensuring healthy and productive use so that one's endurance doesn't start irritating other people and doesn't get them to a place where what they need is not really happening. Let's go and have a look at the interaction of loving kindness and endurance. Love is essential to endurance. Neutrality or indifference creates marginal commitment. So if there isn't really loving kindness, then commitment is going to be marginal and it is not going to be what it should be. Loving and enjoying transcends difficulty by making commitments, and loving has an effect on work, on family, and on choices, and this effect is essential to all of that. Effective endurance is caring and loving. Inflexibility in endurance is problematic because it hurts other people, as is a controlling drive and determination. So if you try and drive other people with your determination, you're going to make excessive demands of others, which are employees, friends, or children, and it's problematic. Also, cooperation with the sheer force of will and drive is problematic. It must be out of love. Endurance directs productive goals. When they are expressed constructively, they focus on cultivating good habits and breaking bad ones. So when there is discipline and endurance, one can cultivate new habits and you can break bad old ones. Endurance emanates from strength and deep conviction and not from weakness and defensiveness. It creates tenaciousness in one and it is not lacking in determination. It gives you the discipline and the drive to continue and to continue without causing harm to others. But within this endurance, there also must be compassion. Compassionate endurance develops good qualities and modifies bad ones. The compassion of endurance reflects beautiful endurance, enduring commitment to help another grow. It's commitment to another, it's commitment to a process that is of mutual benefit. Endurance without compassion is misguided, it is selfish, and endurance must be to those deserving of love, but also to those who are less fortunate. So one must continue to show endurance and compassion and endurance to those who are less fortunate. And the determination must not compromise the compassion. So the one must not become bigger than the other. They must run parallel with each other, and one must rise above one's ego and empathize with competitors. It is to be gracious in victory. If you are competing with others and you then win over them, you have to be gracious to them in your victory. Willpower and determination is universal. Everyone can endure much more than ever imagined and can prevail under the most trying circumstances. But behavior must not be erratic, so it must endure and continue to endure. Inconsistency and unreliability are undesirable. So will and determination moves away from being mercurial, means to flow away from the primary source. And fear denies access to endurance and commitment. So if you fear, you cannot have endurance and you cannot commit. There's a fear of being trapped by commitment, and this is undesirable. And it may be due to past trauma. It develops the capacity for endurance of unhealthy experiences, because when you've had past trauma and a thing just continues, then you cannot continue with it and you want to get out. And it does this as it creates endurance of pain rather than of pleasure. The capacity of endurance must not be underestimated. But the endurance must not be one to continue and to endure with pain, but to continue and endure to a higher goal and to compassion and to caring for others. Humility in endurance, it is yielding from humility, and it's essential to enduring. Standing may be a destruction formula. The oak cannot yield, and the hurricane uproots it. The reed yields, and it yields out of strength, not out of fear. So endurance comes by inner strength. And the Hod of Netzach humbly recognizes and acknowledges that prevailing comes from God. It does not compromise the drive of endurance. It intensifies it. So humility intensifies the drive of endurance. The human is limited, but divine endurance is limitless. And because humility lifts us to the divine, it also lifts us to an endurance that is limitless. Bonding also is essential to endurance. It expresses unwavering commitment to endure all so that it can preserve it. And endurance cannot persist without bonding. Bonding with endurance immediately assures prompt actualization and of some constructive deed or commitment, because there is a relationship between two people and they are also enduring together. The chances of them succeeding at what they set out to do is that much bigger. The nobility of endurance, the sovereignty of endurance. Sovereignty is the basis of endurance. If you are a nobleman, you can endure, you will endure, because you know that reward can only be obtained if you continue with what you're doing. Endurance encompasses the other 6 qualities, and it is a tribute and testimony to the majesty of the work of the Spirit in us. It is dignified when it elicits the very best from people. In other words, when nobility elicits the very best from people, it is dignified. In hardships, the Spirit keeps the head up because it makes us noble. It makes us a royal priesthood. It provides confidence in God-given strength, and it does not cater for cowering and shriveling in fear.